to talk about adopting and not shopping. So basically, adopting pets is me rescuing them from an animal shelter or a rescue instead of shopping for them from a puppy mill or pet shops or a breeder. So according to the Insurance Information Institute, approximately 63.4 million households in the United States have a dog part of their family. Many of you in this room could have your own dog or dogs, but where did your man's best friend come from? Were they adopted or bought? Personally, my family has had 3 dogs, and all 3 have been rescued. I've always preferred rescuing a pet over buying one. Many households all over the United States continue to shop for new family members instead of helping them to save and adopt a dog into their family, which is the better option. Today I'm going to tell you the problems with buying a new pet, the causes of the problems, and how we can help to fix the problems and save many pets. According to a PetSmart charity study, 24% of pet owners would rather bring an animal home with them from a non-adoption resource instead of an adoption resource. The problem at hand is that households are still buying from non-adoption resources. So yes, 25% is lower than 50% or 75%, but it's still too much. According to ASPCA on their office website under Pet Statistics dated 2020, it is stated that 34% of dog owners have bought from breeders. Breeders produce dogs on demand for their own personal benefits. They want to make money. And I'm not saying that all breeders do this, but just most breeders do. And they rarely keep the dogs in acceptable conditions. So behind me on the top are puppy mills and breeders. And so normally they're just in cages and multiple people in really, or not people, multiple dogs and puppies in really small cages. According to Kim Sills in her article, Do the Right Thing, Adopt, Don't Shop, dated 2013, most of the breeder dogs never walk on grass or ever know the loving hand of a human. So normally the breeder dogs, which are these 4 examples, they're normally just carried from their cages to go breed and then carried back. And they're normally breeded and be forced to breed until they're no longer able to. So they basically get very, very sick because that's all they're meant to do. They don't have a life outside of breeding. The whole situation is inhumane and something that needs to stop happening in the world. Because so many people are still buying from breeders and not adopting from shelters, there is still an abundance of animals in the shelters. According to Open Lab at City Tech under Adopt Not Shop, dated 2020, 6 to 8 million animals end up in shelters, and about half of those animals will never be adopted. Due to the fact that there's not enough space in animal shelters, there's not enough living space because in animal shelters, they like to have open space, but only 1 dog in the space instead of having 5 in 1 cage. There's not enough space in the animal shelters to care for all the abandoned animals, and many of them that are not able to be in the shelter are euthanized. According to the National Humane Society under Shelter vs. Breeded, dated August 29th, 2018, every year more than 2.7 million animal shelters are euthanized in the United States. This is because they don't have space for them in the shelters. People are obsessed with the idea of having purebreds as their household dogs. Society has made it so that many people want only purebreds in their home because they believe that purebreds are better. The purebred superiority myth is completely false. The owners are told that they'll get a loving dog because of how it was bred, but that's not true. How a dog reacts is completely based on the individual dog itself. Just because it's a purebred does not mean that it's going to be loving to the family. The more people continue to buy from breeders, the more it continues to harm the animals. While it's amazing to have designer dogs, it harms the animals in the long run. According to D. Lamont in their article on how our love for designer pets actually harms animals, dated 2014, inbreeding causes bad health effects in gene pools of purebreds. According to Kim Sill, more than 50% of the puppies sold at pet shops are likely to develop genetic disorders to poor breeding practices. Because it's inbreeding, they're just going to develop more genetic disorders. If society continues to buy from breeders, then harm will just continue to be brought to the animals. The solution to this problem is to adopt from shelters and lower the number of animals that are harmed due to poor choices. Adopting from shelters can help save more than just 1 animal. Once you adopt 1 animal from a shelter, that frees up space for another animal to come to live at the shelter before finding their forever home. According to the National Humane Society, under shelter versus breeder, it is estimated that there are 70 million homeless animals roaming the United States. Your action of adopting an animal can free in the space of the shelter, and one more animal can be moved off the streets and into the shelter. So when you adopt instead of shop, you can save money. Like stated earlier, inbreeding of purebreds can lead to illnesses in the animals. These illnesses are going to cost you a lot of money in the long run when the medical bills and vet bills start stacking up. Adopting from a shelter will save you so much money. According to the Open Lab, the average you will pay for your forever best friend will be around when you adopt, will be around $230. But if you buy from a breeder, that can cost you upwards of $1,000. When my friend, I was trying to convince her to rescue, but her family wanted to buy a Pomsky. So she was looking for a Pomsky, and the average of that Pomsky was probably around $2,000 to buy that. I don't know, this is me and my sisters with our dog we adopted 4 years ago. I don't think when we adopted her, the fee was not that much. And then when you adopt not shop, you can be saving more than just one life. Today I've informed you of the problems with shopping for a dog and the solutions that adopting a dog can bring you. Buying a dog can cause more illnesses and it can be very expensive for the owner. Next time you think about bringing a new family member into your home, make sure to think about not only your life, but the dog's life too, and consider adopting instead of shopping.